All right, what's up, guys? We'll be coming at you fast and furious again once today. It is the 4th of August. We're going to run through the NBA stuff for overlay right now. The DraftKings stuff is already up. It's been up since last night. Go check that bad boy out. I also want to reiterate to everybody, Matt's Venmo and my pay or the business PayPal are below. For today and tomorrow, for the full season of NFL, it's the best sale we're going to offer. It is a 2-day thing and only for 2 days. $59 for the full season NFL. $99. That's 40% off if you are interested.
Can't beat it, man.
All right, so
I guess we could beat it, but that'd be silly.
yeah, I mean, we could give it away for free, but that's not very advantageous. So I wanted to reiterate a couple things about overlay before we actually get in there. I keep talking about these in these $2.50 contests that they keep putting up this guy, King Hap, the bonus to beat him. Again, I just slid out of the top 10% in both MLB and NFL yesterday, but I beat him twice, so I doubled my money. So without even getting to the top 10%, still double your money on the day. Multiple ways to win. I mean, the best thing to do is play this $22 contest, which we're about to run through, and just go 12-0 and win the $19,000. But that's probably a little easier said than done.
Sure is. That's exactly what I did. Not win it, but I played the $22. I finished one pick outside the money with 7 and 5. Live to fight another day, I guess.
Yeah, that'll happen from time to time. All right, so let's break down the studs to start the day, because what they're doing is a little bit unique. But we got Harden, Giannis, and Doncic, and essentially they're asking us to rank all three of them because they have matchups between all of them up here. Harden versus Giannis, Harden versus Doncic, Doncic versus Antetokounmpo. Just to reiterate, they do detract missed shots on this website. So that is one area that Giannis is obviously, he just has a much higher field goal percentage than these guys because he only shoots, he only dunks. These guys are shooting three-pointers left and right, step back threes to say that. So that takes away from him. That being said, I think we have the same concern with Giannis today, right? The Nets are running out a legitimate D squad, and that might even be a compliment. So how much does Milwaukee play him today?
Yeah, that's definitely the unknown. The other side of the coin is that, like you always talk about, after a loss, Giannis goes apeshit, for lack of another word. With that being said, though, if Giannis does go off, it's really hard to see Brooklyn staying in this game. So I'm actually going to have Giannis last here. I'm going to go Luka, Harden, Giannis.
So am I. Okay, we agree on this one today. I have Luka. And you know what? I might actually go Harden, Luka, Giannis. I'm still a little undecided on Luka versus Harden. I like Luka better on pay sites because he gives you small forward eligibility. But as far as like him and Harden, I mean, those are really, really close to me. Harden just goes off against Portland. I don't think they have any way to stop him right here. So that's a tough one. But I definitely have Giannis last because of the big concern with Brooklyn. Brooklyn's sitting everybody today if you haven't watched through it.
Yeah, I'm with you, man. We see this eye to eye.
So I'm going to go Harden, Luka, Giannis. So I got Harden over Giannis, Harden over Luka, and then Luka over Giannis. And these are none that I'm lining up to pick, though, because these guys are all so good.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Next up, we got Big Game Dame versus Russell Westbrook. I will stick with Westbrook on this one.
This is a really tough one. I will go Dame, but I don't have strong conviction.
I get that. I like what Russell's been doing. I liked what I saw out of him last game. So it's not an easy one when you got two guys like this. But ultimately, like if you just asked me DK prices, I would pay more for Westbrook than I would for Lillard. So that's where I'm making my decision right here.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Kawhi versus K. Porzingis. I'm going to go with Porzingis. I have more fear that the Clippers flat out roll on Phoenix. And like last time that the Clippers met up with the Pelicans the other day, Kawhi was very good for like 3 quarters. And then the inferior team just wasn't around in the fourth quarter. They easily will rest him. That's my bigger concern here today. And Porzingis has just been amazing, even going back pre-quarantine.
I'm still going to go Kawhi here, though. A better fantasy player, if not by tons and tons of margins anymore. And I'm not going to pick based on the blowout concerns, but I get it.
Yeah, in a close one like this, it's kind of the thing for me. Also, I don't trust Dallas to put their foot down and win this game. Like I feel very good about Porzingis being out there for 4 quarters for sure.
I get that.
He's been amazing too. Like again, didn't do anything special last game. He was 9K on DK and still went off for over 50 DK points. He's really, really looking healthy.
Mm-hmm.
Nurkic versus Devin Booker, which almost seems crazy. This is a question, but in this specific matchup with those excellent perimeter defenders that they have on the Clippers, give me Nurkic.
Yeah, give me Nurkic also. Never thought I'd see the day, but just a much better spot for Nurk.
All right. Tatum versus Paul George. And if you want to talk about a tale of two games, how much better was Jason Tatum in the second game in the bubble than the first game?
He looked like a legit superstar in that second game.
Yeah, and he looked like somebody who shouldn't even be playing in the first one. So it only took him one warm-up game, apparently, because he was terrible in that first one. My Lord, did he look, like you said, like a legitimate superstar.
Yep.
Who do you got in this one? This is a tough one for me.
I got Paul George. Similar talent, similar players. I just like the matchup a lot more for PG.
I'm with you. This is one where it's a tough matchup for Tatum because Miami plays really hard-nosed defense. Not saying that Tatum isn't better than Miami, just that's not an easy spot. And I feel like Paul George might not be out there in the fourth quarter, but it's because he looks good. He looks like the break was good for him.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Well, without knowing who's available exactly for Indiana today, I ended up rolling with Warren yesterday in my main lineup. I don't know about you. He was awesome again. If Oladipo or Brogdon don't play today, then I will just stick with TJ Warren.
I'll go McCollum here. I'm still not buying what Warren's selling. I mean, he had like 8 steals and blocks yesterday. So he was awesome, but 8 steals and blocks for TJ Warren. That ain't going to happen again.
Well, he did it against one of the best teams in the bubble, too, Washington.
Yeah, right?
I need guys to be out, though,
I will say,
besides the bonus. I need either Oladipo or Brogdon not to be in the game to pick Warren. Otherwise, I will side with you.
I will say, though, like, because we talk about, the eye test and stuff a lot, and you can't base everything off it. Based on the eye test, Warren looks good. But not only does he look good, he looks like the vocal point of their offense, and that other guys just are, I don't want to say like standing around watching him do stuff, but more or less standing around watching him. So if that's going to be the case going forward, and he is like the main source of offense for Indiana game in and game out, yeah, he's got to be looked at every single day then.
Yeah, well, once you take Sabonis out of that lineup, like Sabonis takes a lot of touches.
Mm-hmm. And Warren is passive is not one thing you could say about Warren.
We were just curious why Phoenix just gave up on him. Like, legitimately, because he's a scorer, right? Like, there's definitely a place for him, and they just gave him away for a cookie.
Yeah, they gave him away. I know there's been a lot of like memes going on around about that. They gave him away for, change to be determined, like for literally chump change. So I'm glad that he's proven himself right now.
Yeah, all right, man. Chris Middleton or Vucevic? Give me Vucevic in this situation. It's the same thing with how much time is Middleton going to be out there today? Bledsoe's back for him. I think Orlando and Indiana play a game, and I think Vucevic is out there for all 4 quarters. And these guys, on any given day, I like Vucevic more than Middleton most of the time.
Yeah, he's just much more needed, man. And also, he's a center, and we talk about that a lot. Like, it's just easier to replicate fantasy points.
Yeah, and if Middleton goes off, it's generally he's going off with his shooting. And in that situation, Milwaukee is rolling, and he's probably not out there in the fourth quarter.
And these guys are like very similar NBA players in terms of like how good they are. Do you agree?
Just as far as talent?
Yes, they obviously don't do the same things, but like, maybe borderline all-stars.
Yeah, I'm with you on that one. All right, Bam versus Ayton.
I like Bam here, but I don't love it because I think that if Phoenix keeps this game competitive, Ayton will be a big part of it.
Yeah, and I keep thinking the only thing the Clippers have that can be considered a weakness is their perimeter or their post defense. So I like Ayton here. I don't think I want to pick it, though, because I don't trust Phoenix to be competitive, and I don't know what that means. I don't know if that means Ayton's still out there and they're developing him, or they're like, we don't want to risk our future.
Mm-hmm. Agreed.
All right, so I'm not trying to pick that one. All right, Aaron Gordon versus Indiana or De'Aaron Fox against Dallas. Give me Fox here. And I'll pick this one, too.
Yeah, I'll take Fox. I don't like it as much as you do, but I like Fox.
Yeah, I mean, I know you're a bigger Aaron Gordon guy than I am. I just never know who Aaron Gordon is going to be on any given day. And like I know Fox has the ball in his hand. He's always out there trying.
True.
All right. Gordon Hayward versus Jaylen Brown. I will flat out try to abstain from this one, but if forced to choose with no rhyme or reason, just give me Jaylen Brown.
He looked good last game, man. So did Hayward. Brown was the X factor. I'm going to go Hayward, but again, no rhyme or reason.
I have zero desire to pick this one. It's probably going to be at the very bottom of my confidence rankings if I were to pick it, just because, I mean, these two guys, the same matchup, birds of a feather. It really just comes down to who's hitting their shots on the day, which is one thing that I don't care who you are. You can never predict that.
I'm with you.
All right, Miles Turner versus Ricky Rubio. Whew. Oh, I don't like this one. I think Rubio is usually the guy I would go with, but
I'm going to stick with Turner here. Still no Sabonis, obviously. Not as good of a matchup as yesterday, but it almost was like he wasn't needed a ton yesterday with TJ Warren just going ham. So I'm going to stick with Turner, who is still solid.
He was solid. Man, how much do I trust Phoenix to be competitive today? That's a tough one. I do not like this one. I'm definitely torn inside because I get both sides of the argument on this one. Because on any given day, I'll almost always pick Rubio over Miles Turner. But the situation here definitely, there's a reason this is a question, right? All right, give me Turner. I'll stick with you on this one. All right, Marcus Smart versus Tim Hardaway. I'm going to take Smart.
Two guys that do completely different things. I'll go Smart also, but I could see either of these guys scoring like 15 more than the other.
Definitely. My reason for Smart is simply because this seems like a Marcus Smart type of game. Hard-nosed, hard-fought. I feel like this gets his freak juice flowing, and he's going to be out there grabbing steals, and this is just the kind of game that he's made for.
This next one's a good one.
Yeah, it is. Brook Lopez versus old team and Garrett Temple. Look, I'm going to pick Lopez for the higher floor. But I think, like, if you're playing on a pace side today, I think Garrett Temple's got significantly higher opportunities for, like, game-changing type of stuff.
I agree, but I'm also going to go Temple here. And I like Lopez, like, in general, if this game stays close. But we've talked about it. It's hard for me to pick, like, any Milwaukee players because I just don't have any confidence in this game. If it's close, I think it's because they played, like, dog shit. Temple is not good, but he is going to have to play big minutes here. Like, they have no choice but to play him big minutes.
Well, I think this right here is a classic example of you versus me about the way that we look at things. The ceiling of Garrett Temple today, in my opinion, is much higher than Brook Lopez's. But the floor of Brook Lopez, just knowing that he's a better player that's going to be out there getting rebounds and, you know, coming off a real big game against his former team, is higher. Because Garrett Temple, to me, is a guy like he could play 30 minutes today and be dominant, or like the Nets might flat out be like, I don't care what this wily veteran's doing. Like, we want to look at these real young kids that we have out here today just to see if we even want them around next season.
True, but I don't even think they have the bodies not to play Temple. So normally I might agree with you there, but he is going to have to play big minutes. I don't think they have any way to not play him.
Yeah, okay. I completely understand why you would say that. I can't argue with you with any real sound logic.
I don't disagree with you that this is how we look at things, but I also think that as far as Garrett Temple goes, this is about as high as a floor as he'll ever have.
I like that. All right, let's move along. Melo versus DiVincenzo. I'll stick with Melo on this one. I love Dante DiVincenzo, but again, I don't know what the Bucks' plan is going to be for the day.
Man, I just can't pick. I love the idea of someone like DiVincenzo today because, you know, someone's going to do something for Milwaukee. Like, they're all not just going to do anything, but it's hard to know who. This Portland game should be really good. I feel like Melo's going to play big minutes. I'll go Melo also, although I will say, like, of all the Milwaukee guys, DiVincenzo is someone I have my eye on.
Yeah, I think we've definitely tried to use DiVincenzo in these types of game with Milwaukee before. He doesn't ever really seem to get extended run. Like, they're pretty comfortable with who he is. You've actually gotten me to be a bigger fan of his than I was even before. And it's really, I definitely appreciate what he brings to the game, but I don't know that he's not like a main part of the rotation at this point. They're going to use him any extra.
Yeah, you're probably right about that, which is ultimately what's going to leave me not going there at all. But you feel like at some point in one of these games, like when they're in a game like this or in a game like where they're missing Giannis and Middleton, that DiVincenzo just has to go off. But you're right. We haven't necessarily seen it all that much.
Yeah, he's definitely a mainstay in the rotation at this point.
I love him.
So, yeah, I know you do. He's very likable as a player.
I just think he brings so much good stuff to the Bucks.
All right, Saric versus Brogdon. This one's easy for me. I know Saric has had some decent games, but give me Brogdon. As long as he's in the game today, I will pick him easy.
Yeah, I mean, this is not even Brogdon all day.
All right, Chiazza versus Timothy Lewu Cabaret, or however it's pronounced exactly. I mean, this one's a crapshoot if there's ever been one. I'm going to take your boy Chiazza coming off of a hot game just because I know that they're going to need somebody who can kind of run the point guard a little bit. But I don't have a lot of desire to pick this one.
Yeah, I mean, I guess I'll go Chiozza also because, like you just said, he's at least going to have the ball in his hands. And also, like, the points you made about Temple, like, while they're going to have to play these guys, like, they have more than 5 guys. I don't see Chiozza losing any run at all.
Right, like Tyler Johnson's been there for 3 minutes, so it's like these are their 2 point guards on the day. It's not going to be pretty. They just have no way to make buckets today. If Milwaukee doesn't steamroll them, it's kind of sad.
Yeah, very sad if they don't steamroll them here.
All right, Terrence Ross versus Evan Fournier. Like, I'll just usually go with Fournier in this situation. Not that if Terrence Ross is hot, he can easily win this matchup, but I'll stick with Evan.
Yeah, I mean, Fournier had an awesome game 1. I'm gonna go back to Fournier here. It's hard because that last Orlando game was such a blowout.
All right, Bogdanovich versus Rashawn Holmes. I haven't watched a lot of Sacramento the last couple days.
They got blown out by Orlando. That's the game I was just talking about. It wasn't on a main slate. That's why.
And they're also one of the teams, like, you just know, like, they don't really have any reason to be here. All right, I know Holmes played. Fouled out was 6 that game. Bogdanovich had a nice first game.
Holmes has not been good, I don't think.
I doubt anybody was good this game based on what you were saying.
And look at that fourth quarter. They outscored Orlando by 20 in the fourth quarter.
Yeah, I kind of remember that, like, once you brought it up. I'm going to stick with Bogdanovich. He's just playing better.
Same. It seems like Luke Walton goes real out of favor with Holmes all the time.
Yeah. I get that. Dragic versus Duncan Robinson. Give me Dragic. This is the kind of game I like. I like a Goran Dragic when they really, really need him.
Yeah, Sam. I don't think I want to pick Duncan Robinson over Dragic all that much anyways.
So Barnes is still playing bigger minutes, I think, based on what we were saying. You played 37 minutes in the first game. If I'm trying to just monitor quickly what Whiteside's minutes have been in these 2 games. You think Whiteside will be back on the Blazers next year?
Oh, hell no. What about you?
16 minutes in the second game? Yeah, this one's easy for me then. Give me Barnes, and I will absolutely pick this one.
Same. Whiteside is, I mean, we talked about this a lot, like, during the year. Nurkic is, I think he's just much better than Whiteside. Whiteside might have similar stats in some regards, but I just think Nurkic plays the game better.
Oh, agreed, 100%. Whiteside is better at DFS than he is at real-life basketball, and I think that's where you saw him fought a favor in Miami, and he could never stick on the court very long. And I think us DFS players, we watch the numbers, we're like, oh, this guy puts up numbers. Why isn't he out there? Because numbers and being good to help your team win are 2 different things.
Yeah, much different. Good point.
Okay, Reggie Jackson versus Markelle Fultz. Give me Reggie Jackson. I loved what I saw of him last game. And actually, is Lou Will still out today?
He's questionable, firmly.
Okay. I would watch this game then, and I would double check on those things. I doubt we've got any update at this point in the morning, but yeah, I'll pick Reggie Jackson if Lou Willis and Harrell are still not around. But if those guys are somehow back in, then I would switch to Fultz.
Same. I still wonder, like, Fultz doesn't have, like, even a bigger role with Orlando. Like, DJ Augustine still seems like their starting point guard. He is their starting point guard. That's not to say I haven't been impressed with Fultz when I've seen him, but I'm with you. I'm going to go Reggie here as well.
Yeah, unless Lou Will and Harrell are back, and then I'll probably switch over to Fultz, just more guaranteed minutes.
Yep.
So that's what we got today, guys. Thanks a lot.
Thanks, guys.